Good morning, everyone. Hi, how are we? As I get the little video started, there we go. So, um, so it's December 23rd, and we are going to do some stuffing, getting ready for just a little Christmas Eve dinner, since there's just the two of us. But at the same time, I really love I've got my little parsley here and my thyme here. So I really love the trying to make a romantic dinner. I think that would be a good thing to call it, and whether you're by yourself or not. Like just over the holidays, I know it's really hard for everybody right now, and so to try and make it as festive and romantic as you can, even if you're by yourself, So light a candle and good morning, Jane. Hi. So I know it's I've had a lot of comments. I mean, everybody's been getting the comments on what to do when you're alone at Christmas, and I think just like even just to get that sort of festive feel of lighting a candle and spoiling yourself, so it could be a bubble bath. It doesn't have to be a full-on dinner or anything like that, although if you do feel like doing something like making a really unique dinner that could be anything, It doesn't have to be traditional. You can have dessert for dinner if you want, and it's your Christmas, so spoil yourself. Hey, Darlene. Good morning, everybody. So I'm gonna do my stuffing today, and so you depending on what it is that you want to do. I know traditionally it's whatever, turkey or ham or something, and so I work with a lot of meat substitutes, and so there are many options out there, or none, which is okay too. Hey, Manette, good morning. Hi. So so I do love the stuffing, so make a plant-based stuffing, and in the past I have used many of the different meat substitutes. If you're trying to stay with a plant-based diet, and or just having stuffing and Brussels sprouts and all the traditional things, the cranberry sauce or cranberries, it's very Christmassy. Thank you. It's the Christmas week, so so you can, we'll do that. We'll do all of the trimmings, except for the meat, and or there are several substitutes out there. So that's one of the things that people have been asking me about, people that are trying to move towards a more plant-based diet, is all the different substitutes out there, and all the things about soy and all the which, according to Dr. Michael Greger, the nutritionfacts.org, the non-GMO organic soy actually has several benefits, and I think that's from studies and research in Japan, I think. I'm not sure. Asia somewhere. But that's where they've gotten their studies from, because of the, because of the general population that uses a lot. I don't know what kind of research they did, but like however many thousands of people. And their level of health was like way up there in the good, healthy ness. And they do a lot of soy, organic, non-GMO, I'm sure. So the other thing is things like exercise is just so important. And even if it's something, I know one of the things that seems to be promoted there a lot. Did I get that cut up very well? Not very well. One of the things that's promoted a lot is like the Tai Chi and things like that, So keep moving. Movement is just so important when it comes to your immune system and your overall health you know, your joints, your everything. If you don't use it, you lose it. It's so true. And I know that's one of the things. Here I am picking this back out. Of course, onions are clean, hands are clean, clean, clean. When you're working with food, you need to make sure you wash your hands first, because you might have to rescue things with your bare hands. So, although it won't matter really if there's some big chunks of onions in my stuffing. So yeah, so soy is one thing, you know, for like a plant substitute or none. And then there are several different companies. You know, I know that there was a lot of controversy with the Beyond Beef, and one thing to know or note, onions are very anti-inflammatory, and so they're offering their aromatherapy to me, and my eyes are watering now. Usually I haven't had that problem, so it's very interesting. Yeah, but anyway, so I'm just going to blow it that way while I cry. Anyway, onions are anti-inflammatory, really, really good for you. They're also antihistamine, which is what they're doing to me right now. So they're really, really good if you're trying to clear out your sinuses or flush things. They're really awesome for that. But anyway, back to the plant-based meats. There's several different ones that I've tried, and there was a lot of controversy about the Beyond Beef and all of that kind of thing. And people have been asking me about that, and I do use meat substitutes just to have something traditionally, you know, that you grew up on, you know, even though you're trying to work towards a more healthy diet. You know, I think overall, I'm not even going to go there. With all the different things and all different reasons. But it is, the more vegetables you can eat, there's no question about it. All research in the world points to the more vegetables you eat, healthier you are. So, back to the plant-based meats. They're a treat, you know, like anything. It's not the best choice in the world, but it depending on what's going on with you, it can be a better choice. And so, depending on what's going on with you, with your health is what I mean. And so, like with the Beyond Beef, they're saying, oh, well, you know, it's not blah, blah, it's not the healthiest, whatever all the controversy was. It's not supposed to be a health supplement. It's not supposed to be like the healthiest choice, you know. It's just better than some other things. And so it's all about balance, right? Sometimes you just have to have a comfort food, and especially now during these times, I think people are searching out comfort foods like crazy, and so we should. So if you know, I mean, if you need to eat whatever it is that you need to eat, or drink whatever it is you need to drink during these stressful times, the important thing is to educate yourself on the things that reverse that, right? So, so like if you're going to drink beer, one of the things that reverses the negative effects of beer is a lot of garlic, fresh garlic, and so because of the yeast and the all that kind of thing, and then doing things that help your liver as well, right? So you can do things like you can do herbs like milk thistle and all that kind of thing, or you can just eat really healthy foods that feed the liver and protect it. And so we talked about that the other day. So yeah, yeah, definitely those kinds of things are helpful. I'm just trying to focus on getting right down to the very end of the celery here. Okay, so I'll cut those pieces up. So celery, again, see, that's really good for your joints. Celery is so good for your joints. It's awesome if you have arthritis or any kind of painful joints or arthritic conditions. The celery is a natural source of sodium, and I don't mean salt, I mean the sodium that is like your lymphatic fluid. You know how your tears are salty, so it's like that kind of lymphatic sodium that goes in, and it neutralizes the acids, and it's the acids that create the pain and inflammation, especially around the joints and tissues and all that kind of thing. An acid environment it contributes for sure. So you want to have your celery, and of course I'm cooking everything, which lowers the benefit of the celery as a medicinal supplement. You really want to have the celery raw if you can, like raw celery juice, eating raw celery, and if you want to, you can do celery seed tea. So yeah, I mean, the other thing you could do is dehydrate celery and have it as a tea as well, right? So there's just so many different ways. This is my homegrown garlic, and it has a couple little tiny specks on it, so I get rid of that. And chop up this garlic, and of course your garlic, as you know, I'm just going to throw the whole thing in there. I'm not even going to take the little heads off because it's all so good for you. So of course, your garlic is very antiviral, and the more garlic you can eat, the garlic really reverses the negative effects of a lot of things. Like it's antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal. When you're eating a lot of sugar, right? Sugar feeds the yeast, and so often the yeast, in things like athlete's foot or yeast infections or things like that, it's an overgrowth of yeast in the diet, and it can be systemic, not necessarily like a yeast infection or an athlete's foot. Both of those things are obviously an indicator of yeast overgrowth in the body. But you can have systemic yeast going on, which creates, foggy thinking, lack of energy. I mean, if you look up Candida, the list is like a mile long of the problems that overgrowth of Candida, they call it Candida. It's an overgrowth of yeast. And so garlic is like so amazing because it just knocks that yeast, that Candida, right out. And fresh garlic, of course, will work better. But yeah, that's a really big issue. And so the more garlic that you can eat, it will help your overall immune system in so many ways, with antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial, and also by killing the yeast, because the yeast feeds the sugar. No, the sugar feeds the yeast. Oh gosh, I knew I had that wrong. Anyway, yeah, so the yeast feeds on the sugar. So when we're overindulging during the holidays and having way too much sugar, generally speaking, for a lot of us, to really bump up that garlic so that you're not getting an imbalance of too much sugar in the body, feeding the yeast and creating so many of those symptoms. Like I said, the list is a mile long. If you're having issues and you're not sure what's going on, for sure have a look at the Candida list of symptoms and bump up that garlic. And then there are many herbal supplements and herbal things that you can do to control the yeast as well and to kill it off. So I mean, that's when you want to actually work with someone that knows about what to use for those kinds of things specifically to really help that get rid of that yeast and improve your whole health and immune system. So we have the onions and the garlic and the celery, and we're going to get these guys coming along here. And while we do that, we're going to slice up our bread. So we are making a stuffing, and I do have to say, I usually use a gluten-free bread often, but in this particular case, I'm not going to, because it's one of those times when it's the holidays and I just want to make the most decadent stuffing ever. So yeah, so I don't, for me personally, myself, I don't try and be perfect and eat absolutely perfect all the time. I try and maintain it, anywhere between 80 or 90% being good, and then I really enjoy that 10 or 20% of being bad on occasion. The other thing that we do that may be helpful to keep the bread you know, I totally am a breadie. I mean, I love a really homemade, natural yeasted, you know, old fashioned, what do they call that? Anyway, if you remember a couple of years ago, for the people in Port Alberni, Lonnie Morse, Jeanette's husband, he was making this crazy awesome bread, sort of like in a Dutch oven, and it was so good. And there are many bakeries and things in town and out of town and Colocum and everything, and I love that. But what I try and do is we only have bread on the weekends, and so that's like my 80-90% trying to be good, and then on the weekends it's like just get the most decadent loaf that you can. And so you know, just hints, because people have asked me recently, you know, how to stay healthy and happy with what you're eating at the same time. And so those are just some things that I do, and some hints for, especially during this holiday season, some ways to keep yourself super happy with comfort foods, and also, you know, maintain whatever that level of health is that you're looking for. And I do have to say that when you, when it all depends on where you're at with your health. And so if you're in a lot of pain and having health conditions that are, you know, a bit more on the serious side, I might have to move some of these crumbs into the, oh, you know what I forgot? I totally forgot. Okay. That's why I keep things right here around me, because I totally forgot all the mushrooms that I'm putting in this. Okay, so anyway, let's get these guys out of the way a little bit here. Actually, I'll put these here, and I distract myself so much just yapping away about all kinds of things to do with health. Okay, I'm going to set that there carefully, and I forgot to put the mushrooms in, but there's a timing for everything. And so, yeah, Lonnie's sourdough, oh my God, that was just so crazy awesome. And apparently, I mean, there's several places in town. These are dehydrated mushrooms that I dehydrated myself. So we're going to put those in. I forgot, because you need to put them in so they, with the liquid, so they rehydrate. And these are just little, you know, criminy type mushrooms, and then I have some fresh ones here too. And yeah, so back to the 80-90%, whatever level of health you're at. So if you're really having a lot of health issues, then you know you want to stay at the 90% as much as you can until you start to feel better. You need to, you know, sometimes you need to get your energy to where you have the energy to want to do things that make you feel better. And sometimes when you just don't have the energy, you just don't even care, right? You sometimes get to that point. So there are many little things that you can do, you know, like teas, herbal teas that will bring you energy. We talked about different teas a couple of weeks ago, and matcha and things like that. So whatever it is that helps to boost your energy and make you feel good. Whoops, just throwing those mushrooms around. So whatever you need to do to make yourself feel good, so that you feel good enough to have the motivation and to, you know, to really want to participate in your own health, getting healthier, right? So yeah, so I mean, that's why it's really good to work with a health coach, and or a nutrition person, or somebody that can just really give you some options, because it's not that you know, the way I work is that you don't have to give up what you love. We just have to figure out ways to minimize the negative effects of what you love, and so that you can still do the things that you love and feel good and be healthy. So, okay, so I'm just going to add one more of these guys here. These are just little, they're like criminis, which are sort of ish like a little mini portobello. And the portobellos they are antioxidant. They do have antioxidants in them. They're most mushrooms have selenium, which is really, really good. Mushrooms also have something in them called chitin, chitin, and it's the indigestible part of the mushroom. And so they do suggest that your mushrooms should always be cooked. You really shouldn't eat them raw because the chitin's it's an inhibitor. It doesn't digest, and it inhibits you from absorbing the nutrients in the fresh mushrooms. So, so that's one of the reasons I like to do the dried as well. And I have maitake mushrooms here, which are very unusual looking. Let's just throw the mushrooms everywhere. And so yeah, so throwing them around. So the oh, here we are. Oh no, that's not those. Where are we? Where are we? Where are the other mushrooms? Here we go. Okay. So the maitake, yeah, they balance your blood sugar. They lower cholesterol also. You know, really, you can buy these at the health food store, or you can order them online. Most of these, they're medicinal mushrooms, but they're also culinary, like they're edible mushrooms, you know, to put in recipes and stuff. Most of them are antiviral, which is super important. So again, you're boosting your immune system against viruses. So the maitake is really good. Shiitake, crazy, awesome, amazing. Shiitake mushrooms for the immune system, and for the antiviral. Most of them lower cholesterol as well. And these are a few chanterelles, and I got these actually at the farmer's market because I don't know why I don't seem to be able to find chanterelles. I don't know, they avoid me for some reason. Although I did find an awesome patch of lobster mushrooms this summer, and that was super exciting. So on our own property, which is like really crazy good. I need to manifest the chanterelles to grow on our property too. Okay, so shiitakes. Okay, we'll add some shiitakes. So again, the shiitakes. A lot of the mushrooms are anti-cancer too. Going back to the maitakes, are they've been used in anti-cancer formulas. And the shiitakes, these are the shiitakes. So these are antiviral, good for the immune system, good for blood pressure. And I don't use the centers of the dried shiitakes because the shiitakes are pretty chewy as a mushroom, you know, especially dried, like not so much when they're fresh, but when they're dried, they get really rubbery and chewy, or not really rubbery, but a little rubbery and chewy. Especially the stems, so I save the stems. I don't put them in because I find them too chewy. And then you put these in a tea. So then in the tea, you can absolutely use these mushrooms, the dried ones, in a tea for all of those benefits. So if you don't want to eat them, if you don't like mushrooms or the consistency or whatever, dry them and put them in a tea. So that's just super uber important. And in fact, you can buy mushroom complex mixes, which I've talked about before. You can buy them at any health food store. Healthy Habits here in Port Alberni is an amazing source for that. They carry a few different blends of the mushroom blends, as well as individual blends. You know, if you're looking for something in particular, you know, like the chaga. It's not something you cook with, it's something you put in a tea. It's very hard, it's like almost like a piece of wood, but it has such amazing, it's a superfood, it's good for aging, it's good for, oh my gosh, like most of them, blood pressure, cholesterol. Chaga is just super vital for the immune system, really. But that would be in a tea. So the health food store, Healthy Habits, or wherever you live and wherever you can get them, to purchase a mushroom complex, it'll come in a powder, usually. And you just put it like a quarter of a teaspoon into your anything, into your tea, into your coffee, into whatever, just get it into your body. Super important. Okay, so now okay, let's not forget the other stuff. Okay, we're going to add one of these organic, vegan, vegetable flavor cubes. I was at Cher's. They have the miso at Healthy Habits. They have the miso veggie cubes and a few different varieties of the veggie cubes. So I'm going to add this veggie one in here and just get that to put in some of our flavor for the stuffing. And the other thing I'm going to add too, I won't be putting the bread in till the end. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is, hiding behind the bread. I have some of my apples from my tree. They're starting to go a little bit, but you know what? They are still amazing. I have some fresh thyme here that keeps wanting to stick to everything. So I'm going to put some apple in here too. And you can just go crazy with your dressing, whatever it is that you want to put in. Like, I mean, I've had times where I put in broccoli. You can put in Brussels sprouts, you can put in cauliflower, you can put in anything. So I don't really stick to anything too traditional all the time. Sometimes I do, it all depends. It all depends on who's coming for dinner. But in this case, nobody's coming for dinner. So, so doesn't that give you the freedom to do whatever you want? I mean, not that we like it. We're all not very happy about what's going on. But at the same time, if it's just you and whoever's in your household, there are no rules and no stress to get all fussy and please all the people that normally come over. So, so you have to look at the positive in the negative. There's always something positive in the negative. And I know that sometimes there's really not anything that you can find positive in the negative. But lots of times there is something positive, and I guess it's just all a matter of measurement of what's going on. Okay, so there's your apple. I don't want to add too much. And so, the other thing I have here, I'm just looking at all the stuff. Okay, that veggie cube is melting down. I do have a little bit that I cooked here from my beautiful squash. So I'm just going to add this. This is already cooked. We've been eating it, and I thought I'm just going to put it in there for a little change of flavor and some moisture, because I would like to have a really nice moist stuffing. And so, so the more that you can do to keep that moisture in, I think personally is really good. I'm gonna, as a secret thing here, I'm going to add some of my homemade. We talked about this a couple weeks ago on Facebook, and this is my homemade sea salt. It's a Celtic sea salt, tarragon, lemon thyme, lemongrass, and lavender. So again, you're looking for those hints of you don't quite know exactly what you're tasting. That tablespoon is talking a bit in there. Oh my gosh, okay, let's go for a teaspoon. Alright, so we're just going to sprinkle a little bit of this in, and which reminds me, I have not added any salt yet. Celtic sea salt. Let's go for that. Celtic sea salt is a mineral salt, and it's very minerally, so it's not as salty as other salts like Himalayan. I quite like it for the mineral content. I'm going to add some extra garlic. This is just granulated garlic, pure granulated. I love it. I can't help myself. I'm always adding cayenne to everything because it just brings out that that little bit of a bite and a flavor depending on what it is. Like, I do love the heat, but just a touch is so good for your circulation. To have a little bit of cayenne every day opens up your blood vessels. Good for the heart, good for the whole system. I'm going to add a little bit of sage. This is sage that was sent to me by a lovely friend that lives in the Okanagan. And so this is Okanagan Sage. It's just like gold, and thank you so much. Her name is Sue. She does amazing artwork and very, very creative and knowledgeable about plants for sure. So I'm going to cut up the sage just a little bit more. Okay, gonna sprinkle that in. You know, it's got that little stuffing flavor. I'm gonna add a teensy bit of rosemary as well, and I'm gonna cut it up again small. I don't want too much of a, you know, like a whole bite of rosemary might be a little too much. And add this in. It's not easy to cut rosemary. Oh my god, it just sprinkles up everywhere. Okay, get that sprinkled around. We have thyme, fresh thyme. We're going to add fresh thyme here and try and cut those up really tiny also. So nice to have the fresh herbs. I'm going to add a little bit of fresh parsley too. But, oh my gosh, okay, let's try and get this fresh parsley with extra thyme. That's okay, we can use it all. Okay, gonna get these guys in here. Parsley is one of the most mineral-rich herbs of the world, or like on this planet. It has so many minerals. It's just so full of everything. And when they give you parsley at the restaurant and nobody eats it, oh my god, you know, it just balances everything out, which is, it's definitely eat your fresh parsley if you can, or juice it. I mean, it's a little strong, you know, when you juice it, but if you can hide it in anything, I mean, I like it fresh, but a lot of people don't, but if you can hide it, that is totally so super awesome, especially juiced would be really, really good. And, oh, a vegan tortilla. Oh, that would be really interesting. That's why I love the Facebook Live. You hear so many different things and great ideas. My sister-in-law makes a regular tortilla, and I was never a fan of that. Like, even back in the day, you know, before I quit eating meat, it was just really, I don't know, bland to me. Or maybe, I mean, everybody loved it, so I'm sure it was a fantastic recipe. I don't mean that, but it just wasn't something that turned me on. Okay, I am going to add a little bit of, this is our, I know it's a little more of a twist, but this is our Moroccan chili oil that we made months ago when Facebook Live just first started. And so just to add a little, you know, of something different, a little bit of Moroccan chili oil, and that is going to bump it up. Now, the problem that I have found with this is the little chilies want to come, you know, they're supposed to hang out down here, and these guys, for whatever reason, they must be full of air because they want to float up to the top, and I really don't want it full of seeds. I just want more of the oil. Okay, so we're going to put these guys back in here to the best of our ability, and it's okay if a few fall on the cutting board because we're going to put all this stuff back in anyways. Okay, so just to add that little bit of a you know, something really unusual and interesting. And where's my clean cloth here? Yeah, so that's going to be super awesome. And okay, so do we have it all here? I think we have it all. Everything I was thinking of. And so we're just going to, you know, it's okay with me if the apples are a little bit not quite cooked. Because again, you're going to bite into that crunch, right? That little, gives it a nice texture. Okay, so I think we're back to the bread, which seemed to have scooted everywhere. You know, I think I'm going to put these pieces in because I want some of them. Hey, Kathy, good morning. Nice to see you. We're doing the Christmas dinner stuffing with fresh thyme and things, different things like that. So I'm just going to throw these little bits in because I kind of ran all over my cutting board here. And it's okay if some of them are like super gooey because I do want it to be moist. I also make my own croutons, which of course you want to be super crunchy. But in this case, we want this stuffing to be super moist. And so we're just going to carry on with this, cutting these guys up as the last ingredient. And yeah, I'm just looking around to see if there's anything else I missed. So just to recap, let me see. We started with onions and then garlic and celery. And then we added all kinds of super yummy and incredibly healthy mushrooms with all of the qualities for the immune system, for the, they have selenium in them. Lots of them have riboflavin in them, which is really, really important in these times. Anti-inflammatory, antiviral, antioxidant for sure. And so, yeah, so we've got all kinds of mushrooms in there. We've got maitake, shiitake, crimini, portobello-ish ones. I forgot to add the oyster mushrooms, but those would have been good too. And some chanterelles. Okay, so, all right. These guys are going in here. You're going in. Everybody's going in. All right, so this is going to be really good. We added the Moroccan olive oil. You know what? I think I am going to add just a little bit of the coconut oil. It just gives it a super, you know, again, it's like those subtle flavors of things that you kind of wonder what they are. Like, what is that? You know, and it just really brings the whole, whatever it is you're making, into being more interesting, right? A little bit different. And I'm always into things that are different and unusual, because why not? It makes life way more interesting than just following a simple, or not simple, but just following a traditional, that's the word I'm looking for, traditional recipe. You know, it's just so fun. So anyways, I have to tell you guys that I am between Christmas and New Year's, I have a project that I really need to get done, and that's to do with my website and my my website. You know, everybody's asking me about my teas, how to order all my teas online, the Vitality Tea, Chakra Tea, Cold and Flu Tea. I have a new, it's kind of like a sleepy tea. It's a relaxation tea. I call it an Om tea, O-M, like Om, very peaceful. And then the creams and the salves and everything. And I just have not had a chance to get all that stuff onto my website. And I have a new website. And so all this stuff needs to get done. And so I thought, well, during the holidays, in between the holidays, I should say, I'm going to work on that and try and get it all updated, because it's just been a super amazing, super busy year. And thanks, Monique. Monique's saying the sleepy tea is good. Yeah, it is. It's a nice combination. But just to be able to catch all that stuff up, because when this started, the Facebook Live, especially doing this every day since March, I think it was March, oh my gosh, so many things, gardening and preserving, and we did preserving and dehydrating and fermenting and gardening and cooking, and then all of the fantastic things. And so I really just have not taken the time to finish upgrading my website and get everything on there so that you guys can find this stuff a lot easier, because there have been a lot of people saying, well, I didn't know you had this or that or the other thing, and so it really needs to get done. So I apologize. I'm going to miss you guys, but I'm going to take a week off and just focus on that, because you know how it is. I'm just going to go into the, computer room and just stay focused, because for me, in case you haven't noticed, with my Facebook Live and everything else, like I get so distracted by the next shiny thing. And so, you start working on the computer, and then you come up into the kitchen, and then you decide to make a cup of tea, and then you see that, some dishes need done, and then you look over here and there's something that, that needs to be dehydrated, or there's, I need to make more fermented sauerkraut, the ferment's going down, or that needs to be redone, and then there's bananas going bad that need to be dehydrated, and then there's, so it just goes on and on and on. And so I am going to, I'm actually going to go into the Star House. For those of you that have been to the Star House, it has been in the past our beautiful meeting place for all of the, I used to, when things were more normal, I used to host a lot of events, wellness events, and we would do all kinds of different things for, spiritual, emotional, mental, physical wellness, all kinds of different healing things in the Star House. And so, since none of that's been happening this year, I'm going to go out there and just not get distracted by all the things going on in the house. And I guess that's one of the things, that so many of us have learned this year. Here's the whole nother thing. I forgot that one. So that's one of the things so many of us have learned this year is the working from home, right? So, and all those distractions. And, honestly, kudos to the people that we've seen on TV that are, in their in front of their computer, and the kids are running around in the background, and they're trying to stay focused and all that kind of stuff. I mean, kudos to them, because it's not really that easy to do, but I think everyone's getting it. They're getting the hang of it, because by the looks of the polls or statistics or whatever, it's like 80% of the people want to work from home, after all this is over. And so anyway, very interesting. But I am going to hole up. I'm going to miss you guys. I will still keep touch a little bit on Facebook here and there. Not too much time on Facebook, because I have to work on the website. But just to anything interesting that runs across my radar that I think is worthy of sharing, we'll do that. So I hope all of you have the most amazing holiday season. And like I said, even if you're by yourself, spoil yourself, light a candle, take a bubble bath, go out and hug a tree, do something that makes you feel good, whatever that is. Just take that time to just sort of, even deep breathing, and breathing in love into your body, breathing in healing and light, and all the things that you want, anything that you want in your life. Just take a deep breath, and close your eyes and just visualize that coming into your body, into your space, into your place. And there are many, many fantastic meditations out there too that can help you to really be able to visualize that if you have a hard time doing it on your own. So, so for sure, just go into the most beautiful place you can imagine. Find something beautiful, either on the internet or read the book you've never taken the time for, and try and really spoil yourself over the holidays, and just let's recharge. Let's all take that time to recharge, and I will be taking a couple days to do that as well, not just work on the website, but yeah, you really need to feel as peaceful and full of love and light as you can during these times, because that is the one thing that totally works with and protects the immune system. It's just helping yourself to feel good, boosts your immune system, keeps you balanced and healthy, and have some greens in the middle of it all too, right? Don't forget your garlic and a few greens along the way. Okay, so this is looking pretty done, and just trying to get that, make sure that it doesn't stick to the bottom. Okay. Alrighty, a little more water there. Okay, so this is great. So you guys, if you wanted to try and make this, pretty easy to do. You watch me do the whole thing, and I will look forward to all of the other yummy things on the internet and seeing all of those. And there we go. A little messy, but I know it's going to taste really awesome. Okay, so thank you for hanging out, and yes, I will miss you guys. I'll touch base once in a while, and yeah, well, that's a big stuffing for two. I love stuffing. We're going to eat that over 2 or 3 days. Yes, I do. It's a lot. I would bake more just to make it last longer. I do love stuffing. Okay, so and also, I mean, just as we're here, a super easy, fast, vegan, plant-based gravy is super simple. Just take some Bragg's liquid aminos or Bragg's, you know, it's like a soy sauce or teriyaki sauce, but not really teriyaki, more of soy sauce or tamari. Take that and mix it with a little bit of water and nutritional yeast, and it's an instant gravy, like plant-based gravy. Super, super easy. So we'll see you guys. I will let you know when I pull my head out of the computer. I'll let you know. And take care. Have a wonderful holiday season. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for being here for this year. And it's been really fun and amazing to hang out with you guys and to have you participate and comment and be a nice, just a wonderful thing every morning. Okay. And so Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, all that kind of thing. And we'll touch base soon. And I look forward to your comments and your sharing and all that kind of stuff. Okay, I could go on and on. All right, we'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. Be safe.